I got the question the other day, what does science look like with a 1-year-old? Now, I teach about 150 kids each week, and the ages of the kids I teach are from 1 to 5 years old. And I teach about 20 classes each week, and 2 of those classes are with 1-year-olds. But how does science translate to teaching 1-year-old little babies who are just really getting a handle on walking and running? Well, the answer is sensory play. Science necessarily isn't a subject in preschool, it's an experience. The science is how the world works. It's asking questions, it's being curious, it's investigating, and it's learning. The first 3 years of a child's life is so important. There are a million new neural connections every second, and sensory play just creates so many new pathways and helps them become much better learners because they're getting so many more experiences. They're getting exposure to all their 5 senses. They're touching the rice in the bin. They're looking at the lights that are moving. They're listening to the sound of the rice as it drops down into the bin. They can smell the rice. I put lavender buds in this rice, so it smells pretty good. And also with 1-year-olds, they're tasting. We try to make sure that they don't put anything in their mouth, but I always make sure the bins are taste safe. And when they put something in their mouth, they don't like the way it tastes, so they're not going to keep doing it because it doesn't taste good. All of their senses are working together, and it's giving them such a rich and engaging experience that they look forward to every time that they see me. And I can tell that they're really looking forward to it because when they sit here in the sensory bin, they sit for 30 minutes. Now, these are 1-year-olds, and the attention span of a 1-year-old, if you have a 1-year-old, if you have kids, 1-year-olds don't like to sit still, and I can get them to sit still for 30 minutes in these sensory bins. So science is not about teaching them what gravity is. It's about giving them the opportunity to experience gravity because when they drop the rice, it's going to always fall back down. It's not about teaching them what is a chemical reaction or what is a mammal or any of those science questions that I'm going to be teaching to the older kids. It's about giving them a sensory bin full of plastic animals and they get to look at it and get names for all the different animals. Or if we're learning about the properties of water, putting the sensory bins out, filling them up with water and sponges and letting them get messy and letting them get wet and letting them squeeze the sponge out on their pants. And they're learning through experience. So sensory bins also increase fine motor skills, scooping, squeezing, pouring, and it strengthens their hand muscles. And those strong hand muscles end up giving them better penmanship when they go into writing, when they get into elementary school. It teaches language development. So I'm giving them new vocabulary while they're playing. We're talking about what colors we see in the lights. What does a fire truck do? We're singing songs to them, and the teachers are engaging and showing them how to scoop, showing them how to pour, showing them how to hold a spoon. I teach a lot of different kids, and I see all sorts of different types of abilities. And I can tell you that the kids that have behaviors love the sensory bin. Those are the kids that are putting their whole bodies in the sensory bin and soaking up every single second. And after the sensory bin, and I see them in the hall the next time, they just have this chill around them. They just calm down because they had an outlet and they got that sensory input that they are so needing, which is what causes behaviors in some cases because they are just bored and they need input and they need something to do. So that sensory bin just gives them an outlet for that. And it also teaches social skills. So when you're dealing with 1-year-olds, maybe one of the babies is reaching over to take something out of somebody else's hand. So you get a chance to model, ask first. Or if a baby's playing and they get something taken from them, instead of having them cry and yell, say, tell her, I'm not done. Please hand it back. And then you give them a chance to be able to use their voice and learn how to use their voice to get the things that they need. There's so much learning going on in that 30 minutes from language development, fine motor skills, social emotional learning. And I'm so fortunate that I get to bring sensory bins to all of these children. I know the teachers really appreciate being able to do messy play with their kids, but they don't have to worry about their classrooms getting messed up because I put the tarp out, I put the bins, I clean it up, and the kids get what they need and the teachers don't have to have something else on their plate. So if they pour buckets and buckets of rice into their laps, it doesn't matter. You shake them off, the rice goes back in the bin and I can keep reusing it. and it's not going to make a mess all over the classroom because it's contained. And it's okay to get messy, and it's important to get messy. And we have so many great teachers at my school that are also supportive and love the sensory bin, and they can just tell that their kids love it. They always look forward to science. And I'm really fortunate that I'm able to bring this to my school to enrich not only the kids' lives, not only the teachers' lives, but also my life.